you can consider this anaconda arm triangle position as like an extension of the guillotine position, okay? So the guillotine being, you know, obviously that chin strap grip. We're looking for high wrist positions, okay? Grabbing low and elbow, arm in guillotines, high elbow guillotines, stuff like that, okay? So again, this can be through choice, or like if he's hand fighting and I can't get access to the chin, I could just choose to punch this deeper, okay? Whatever the case is, we're just gonna end up with this hand through the armpit, okay? Remember guys, we're going from the chin strap this way. This way would be more for like a dart series, okay? Not wrong, but that's not gonna be what we're working on this week, okay? All right, so once I get here, okay, I am gonna start to form a gable grip like I'm doing a darce, all right? So from the front headlock, we get thumb up with the first hand, thumb down with the second hand, and then we lock here. Guys, try to stay at this exact orientation, all right? Don't rotate your wrists or your forearms too much. I mean, it's not the end of the world if you do, but it will take a little bit of pressure off of your partner's neck. Okay, now, very important here. There's a couple of details right away that are gonna be central for a lot of the things we're doing, okay? The one that's gonna be pretty much across the board here is when I lock up, I'm gonna be using this grip to sweep his elbow inside, okay? You guys see that's like an arm triangle, okay? The second thing is, we're just like our back take week, like 2 weeks ago, we're gonna be making a lot of wedges between the elbow and the knee here. Okay, so 2 highlighted concepts here for this position, all right? So gable grip, and now watch, I'm gonna close this elbow, and at the same time, I'm gonna use this to sweep his elbow, okay? Now for the first 2, we're gonna use our head. I'm gonna bring my head under his body, all right? Now usually here we go for the Anaconda Choke right away, but there are ways right here to strangle him, okay? So again, the example here would be actually a lot of good wrestlers, Dave Schultz, for example. If we can start to rotate and make pulling pressure with our elbow, we can choke the person here, okay? That's gonna be, again, another highlighted concept is that when we choke here, we're always pulling with our choking elbow, okay? So, aptly named the Schultz Choke, okay? We're gonna start to walk towards our head, and as we do, I'm pressuring down with the choking shoulder, that's my right shoulder. That should help drive his head and his neck into my forearm. And then as I do that, I'll just start to pull my right elbow back as I get that rotational finish. Here, here, head through, and I'm sweeping the elbow across, okay? That's gonna be a requisite for every technique that we do this week, okay? Now I start to walk. Now from here, my right shoulder's pushing down as my right elbow starts to pull back. And what you guys should feel is that that elbow is basically sawing into the neck as my rotation with my head, my feet, and my shoulder pushes the shoulder in here, and that's what causes the choke. We're gonna make the exact same position here, okay? I'm gonna go front headlock and start to bring this through for the gable. I'm still gonna sweep his elbow. I'm still gonna bring my head under, okay? Now as I start to walk, we're gonna make a strong sit out motion so we can turn our partner, okay? So on the side my head's through, that's the side I want to sit out, so I can start to roll. Okay, so this is one of the best places to learn the Anaconda, not just because it's super common, but also because when you roll through like this, it puts you in the correct orientation, right? And I want to talk about that really quick, because it's going to be important if you guys attack this from different setups, okay? So what's important here? You guys see my shoulder, it's directly under Ulysses' shoulder, okay? This is important for the alignment of the choke, but also in the position here, okay? I want him, if you guys can see, slightly turned away from me here. All right, so when I lock this up, okay, his head is basically wedged into the same place by my shoulder and forearm, okay? So let's move things around a little bit and see how this can go wrong. If I bring my shoulder too much this way, he will start to flatten out. And aside from obvious things like losing the arm, if I go to lock up here, you move your head around and like, yeah, see, like I have a figure 4, but there's no real actual pressure here, okay? The same is true as if I go too low here. Again, this is comparable to locking a triangle choke. like a front triangle choke from closed guard or anywhere else, and locking it around the back and the shoulder. Like this is a good lock. He's kind of trapped here, but all that pressure is going to his shoulder and his back. You don't want that. When we're shoulder to shoulder, like you guys can see, we're more aligned with the neck now. Okay. So, I mean, you guys are basically going to land like this, but keep this position. Don't try to move out from here too much. Okay. So other thing here that's worth noting, okay? Especially when you guys roll through, okay, there can be a lot of momentum. And a lot of times what the person defending does is they get back to their knees. Right. That can lead to the next submission we're going to do too, so let's go back. So guys, when you're holding this position, it's really important that you're activating your hips. So now when he tries to get up, if I pull my elbows, okay, his head's not following the rest of his body. Okay, so that really engages the position. All right. Now, when we're ready to attack, okay, first thing here, we need to worry about this elbow. One of his main defenses here for the Anaconda is try to keep this elbow wide. Right. Right. So, like even if I can lock up here, you guys see this is not ideal. Right? Just like a regular triangle choke. So one big tool we have here is a leg assist. I'm going to take my top leg and I'm going to put my knee over his tricep. So now when he tries to make his elbow wide, it's very difficult. Right? The other detail we want to utilize here, okay, is guys, we talked about this last week. Don't lead with your hand. Okay? Couple reasons. A, if I lead with my hand here and the leg's not over, he's going to bust right through that grip. Yeah. Second thing is if I do stuff like this, yeah, he's going to grab my wrist. So guys, when you go to lock up, this is what I want you to do. Okay? Pull this hand through, and I want you to lead with your elbow on this arm. Here. Okay? Try to bring your elbow through. See, it's not moving now. Now that's where I encapsulate. Now this hand, very important. Okay, to make this even better, I'm going to move my head away so I can grab his shoulder. We talked about that with the darts. Okay? And then from here we'll bridge. I'm just pulling this bottom elbow underneath me. Sorry, buddy. This just came up. Okay, so for the Anaconda especially, all right, so this is inverted north-south. Okay? He knows in a lot of cases that I want to throw this leg over. Okay? So not only does he, yes, exactly. Not only does he keep his elbow wide, he can take one or both hands and start posting on my hips and legs, and look, I can't use them now. Okay? So guys, really, I mean, this is kind of a simple answer. You shouldn't try to force your way through this motion. Again, this is basically like just hand fighting, right? So if this happens, I can't go this way, but look, I can start to move my legs to displace, and then start to pummel back. Okay, front headlock. Still bringing the cable grip through. Again, there's going to be a constant battle throughout every stage of this position, guys. It's him trying to keep his elbow wide. So it really starts here. Okay, when you sweep it through. Okay. You can start to walk high and threaten the Schultz choke at the same time. Okay. But when we make the decision, we're going to sweep our leg through for a sit out. Okay. Guys, don't spend too much time walking here. Okay, that's when he's going to get up to his knees. Okay, situate yourself, and you really want to have this strong bridging motion. All right, so here, replacing this with my knee, okay, so I can wedge this elbow in front. Again, I'm not doing stuff like this, all right, here, all right. Now guys, when you are finishing, there is an element that you are pushing your partner's head with your hips and your stomach, but don't rely on that too much, okay? The key is you pulling your elbow underneath of you. That's my right elbow. The hand I'm wiggling right now, this way. Okay. So what we're going to look at right here is like a seated Katagatame or a seated head and arm triangle, whatever you want to call it. All right. So the difference now for the second part is instead of using our head, we're going to use our lower body. Okay. So from here, again, everything's going to start the same. Push his elbow across. Okay. Maybe you can't roll the person, maybe you can't hit the Schultz choke, or maybe you just prefer sitting to guard. Okay. So from here, okay, staying with that central grip of the gable and the armpit, instead of putting my head through, I'm just going to slide my knee through. Okay. And then from here, I'm going to sit through as if I'm doing a guillotine. All right. So once I slide my knee through, I'm going to open my foot. Okay. Bring my shin across the hip, and I want to bring this leg across the back. Now, again, this is not a guillotine. This is the opposite of a guillotine. A guillotine, you want to crunch and like drop your shoulder to finish. Okay, here, that's not going to accomplish that with my grip in the armpit like this. So for a seated Katagatame, what I want to do is I want to take this heel and I want to start to curl. I actually want to move my head away. If you guys notice, we just did that with the Anaconda. We moved our head away so we could get a bigger range of motion. Doing the same thing here. So as I move my head away, my right elbow is going to rotate. So we're still doing that rotational finish like the Anaconda Choke. Okay. This is essentially a giant arm drag with a gable grip. Okay. Just to compare here, if I was in a guillotine and I start to move back, yeah, Joe said that's going to pop up. Okay. Now you guys saw the arms this way. If I'm in a seated Katagatame, okay. Keep pulling your head out. See, it's really difficult. He'll tell you that's even like a lot of pressure on his neck too. I think it's one of the most important things to remember to keep your gable grip right here in, or even better, like past the armpit, okay? So I'm watching a lot of you here, as you get your gable grip, you're starting to fall and your hands are drifting inside this way. And when you go to like move away and rotate, like you're not, it's like hitting more the jaw, okay? So watch here. You guys see my hands? You're staying in this spot. And what you should feel when you're doing this is, again, that blade of the forearm is still connected to the neck. That's what we want. And then when you start to pull, it should be more consistent. Whereas like if you guys start to go more shallow, it's gonna slip off of the neck and more onto the face, and like they're probably not gonna tap to it. People will try to avoid guillotines and Katagatames by falling to their side. Okay? If that happens, guys, you can still just start to pull your elbow, and that'll still finish the choke in a lot of scenarios. So if Ulysses rolls out right now, for example, okay? Yeah. Forward, to a side, whatever. Oh, okay. No, you're fine. It's all gonna take you to the same spot. Okay? I can't really follow him, okay? But the good news is look at where we are, okay? If anything like that happens, again, we can re-engage the other techniques, okay? Hence why I'm showing you guys all these techniques within that one grip. And this is also going to be an extension, and if you guys were here 2 weeks ago, we did a series of back takes from side turtle. It's going to just jump right back into that series. So you guys heard me say when I do that seated Katagatame, it's basically like a giant arm drag here. In basic terms here, if Ulysses turns his back to me, right, on a mechanical level like this, like our positional level, this isn't very smart for him to do. But for the choke, like I can't really choke him now, okay? However, that gives me a good avenue to take his back, all right? Another thing he could do here, aside from like the very obvious, just turning his back to me, is he could start to tripod and put stacking pressure in, which makes it hard to move my head away and engage the elbow sometimes, okay? So we're gonna borrow some details from earlier this year when we did half guard, all right? So a lot of times from here, what I can look to do is remove the shin off of the hip, then go calf to calf. You can keep that strong, okay? And then get a shin on shin grip, okay? So we're almost like calf to calf and shoelace to shoelace here, okay? And then from here, I'm just gonna stretch these hooks. Okay, so I've returned him to the mat. You guys see he's still at a slight angle. I could try to re-engage the choke here, but a lot of times, like, it's just simply not going to be accurate enough to put pressure. So when I feel like that's the case, again, you can use that rule of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? It's just not working. Or like you're a back take person, right? We're going to unlock our grip and switch our diagonal control to the top shoulder, okay? So it almost looks like I'm neck breaking in here, all right? Now you guys see I have my bottom hook and my top grip on the shoulder. So if I take out my shin on shin hook, try to put your back on the floor, okay, difficult. Try to turn away to turtle, also difficult, okay? So this is a decently strong position to hold somebody in while you're transitioning to the back, okay? Now let's remember our fundamentals from our turtle back takes, okay? I'm not in a good position right now to take his back. My chest is not on his back. His hips are higher than mine, all right? So from here with this grip, I'm going to start to hip escape so I can get chest to back. My hips are higher than his. I want to switch to a seatbelt. So when I switch, I'm going to take this top hand, cup his shoulder, and keep it tight. So again, he's not turning out while I switch my grips. Okay. Seatbelt. Remember guys, if he leaves this open, we'll just put our hook in, okay? If he's connecting elbow to knee to stop me from scoring, I'll bring my legs up and connect my feet, pinch my knees for the half back, and start to twist to open up the space. Makes sense? Everything's the same. Front headlock, get your cable grip, sweep the elbow through, inside, step up, close the foot, sit through. This time he stands up. He's closing space, which is making it hard for me to finish the choke. Okay? I get my half guard hook, get my shin on shin hook. Okay? We can go as low as calf to calf and shoelace to shoelace to really stretch this leg up. Okay? 1, 2. Okay? Remember, guys, don't do stuff like this. It's kind of a waste of time. This is not a true good back position. Make sure you guys are taking the time here to make a series of hip escapes. Okay, this is better. Okay, top hand controls the shoulder, connect the seatbelt, and then close enough. Okay. Start to put our hooks in. If I find myself in this situation, okay, let's say I switch my grips here, okay, and I'm going to pull them back. You guys know as well as I do when we get into these situations, it's like a tug of war. Even though you have the right control, sometimes they beat you and they get up to their knees. Okay, good. Guys, just follow them. Then we'll be right back into the series here. We can start to work our power halves. Like a lot of times when you break them down there, you'll get pretty much the most important part, which is your first hook. But it's just a matter of you following